Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a fireball using Blender Mantaflow. So this is going to be the end result. Let me take this out of the way and begin. If we open Blender and just begin a new project, pressing Control N and do General, it's going to give you a square. You can delete that. You can do X and just delete it. And then you can do Shift A and add a UV sphere. This is gonna give you this sphere, which is gonna be the fire object. So click on it and go to Object, go down to Quick Effects and add Quick Smoke. This is gonna give you this big square, which is gonna be the domain of the fire. Let me just move it up a little bit, and then scale it up a little bit more. I think that should be pretty good. And then we're going to click the sphere. Then we're going to go to Object Properties, Physics Properties, and we're going to change the type to Fire. And then we're going to go to the Fire, to the flow source. Then we're going to go to the flow source and change the surface emission down to 1. Next, because the velocity, because the smoke is going up, we're gonna set the initial velocity to be going up on the C direction at 0.5 millimeters per second. After that, we're gonna click the domain, and we're gonna be changing the resolution of the file to be 128. And then we're going down to the fire settings, and we're gonna be changing the reaction speed to be 0.5. Now, the next thing that we have to do is select a new folder for the catch file that we're going to be using for the simulation. You can select any folder that you want by going down to the catch and selecting the folder. After you have a folder that you want, for me, it's going to be the Blender file that I created a while back. And here, I'm going to be creating a new folder called catch. And I'm going to be selecting that folder to save all the BDB file that I need. After you have selected the folder, the next thing that you have to do is put the end frame, which is going to be 150. Then you have to change the type from replay to modular. That way, we can use the BDB files to actually bake. And the format volumes is going to be open BDB. That way, we can open it in a new Blender project. Go ahead and save this project just in case that it crashes. And the next step is going to be to bake it. Because it's going to take too long, I'm just going to be skipping this. Now that the bake has been completed, the next thing that we have to do is open a new Blender project with the BDB files that we created. For that, we're going to be pressing Control N and doing a general. The Q, we don't need it, so we can just delete that. And then we're going to do a Shift A, go to volume and import a volume, which is right here, import BDB. We're going to go to the folder that has all the files that we just exported, which is should be in the folder that you created in the data folder. Here you're gonna see 150 files for the BDB information. You can just Control A and select everything, import BDB. You're gonna have these big square here that you can see. If you press play, you should see a little bit of smoke right in the middle. The next thing that we're gonna be doing is importing a new cube. That way we can create a mesh out of the volume. Let me just move this to the side, and then we're gonna add a modifier to this cube, which is gonna be the object to mesh. If I can just find it, object to mesh, volume to mesh, this one. And the one that we're going to select is this one. And you can see that it's already covering it a little bit. To cover the whole thing, you have to change the threshold value, which is going the lower it is, the higher it is, the lower the mesh would be. If you going down, you can see that it's gonna be more. If we go back to the volume, to the volume data, and go to volume, you can see that we have different grid information. The one that we're going to be using is going to be the density and the flame. If we go back to the cube modifier, I'm going to change the first one to fire, to use the fire information. Well, the flame information actually. All right, let's go back to the cube and change the modifier grid name to flame. And you can already see that it's already taking the whole entire file information to animate. Then we're going to do a Shift D to duplicate that and left click. And we're going to change the second cube to density. Density. And you can already see that we're taking the entire cube. Now we have two. And if we play this animation, you can see that it's animating the fire with a mesh. Pretty cool. It's pretty nice. So the next step will be now to actually apply some shading to these objects. So let's click one and let's open a new window. Let's change this one to shading. I don't need this, so press and go down. So we're gonna be adding a color ramp right here, and then we're gonna add a vector mapping and a displacement, a input displacement, input coordinate, texture coordinate. Add the mapping vector to the to the factor, and the color to the base color, and also do the color to the emission. Change the emission to 2. That way we can see a little bit of emitting. Now change that to 90 degrees and this to 45 degrees. That way we can actually see the shadows. If we go to render, you can see it there. Now let's change the color to something nice. Some deep orange. And for the white color, we can do a lighter orange. Something about there. Pretty cool. Now we play it. Now I'm gonna click on the other object and we're gonna do new. And this one is not gonna be taking anything else, but we're gonna be changing the base color to something grayish. Now if we can just close this, we can see the full animation. All right, let me change this to 150. That way it doesn't go beyond. Let's see if I'm getting. All right, pretty cool. Now to create the voxel effect that you saw at the beginning of the video, this one, all you have to do is select both cubes and add another modifier. That will be the remesh modifier, and you can go to blocks and set that to 6. That's the one that I found to work good with me. You can change that to something else that you want. Remesh blocks to 6. And after that, you just select the first object, the first cube, and then the second one, and just do Control J. That way it's showing together. Now you can see it. Now rendering. Now before rendering, we're gonna do some changes. We're gonna change the bloom. We're gonna add some ambient occlusion. We're gonna go down and do a screen space selection. That way we can see some of the light reflecting from other objects. For that, we can add a plane. That way we can actually see it. We're going to the world before rendering and changing this color to something black. That way you can see better. Cool. You can see it there. Now we're gonna be rendering this out. Actually, before that, let's just go ahead and move the camera. To change the camera, just go to the navigation and work navigation, and you can just work from there. Okay. Well, we want to capture everything, so let me just. Yeah, pretty nice. All right, the camera is good. Now let's change the light, make it something nice. Change it to sun. That's too bright. Put it down to 6. Maybe something like. Actually, let me just move it first. Still too bright. Make it 2. All right. I did 3. Okie dokie. Now, exporting. So we're gonna be exporting this at 24 frames per second. We're gonna be using the EV engine. Select the output for the video clip that you're gonna be using. For me, it's gonna be the same folder. So let me just select Blender, right? Go down, change this from PNG to FF MPEG video format. Keep going down to encoding. Change the encoding from Matroska to MPEG 4. And leave this as it is. Now is everything ready? We can go ahead and just do render and render animation. So I hope you like this tutorial. If you like more, just like this video and subscribe to the channel. I want to see what you guys did with the project, and go ahead to my Discord channel and subscribe to it and post everything that you have there. See you in the next one.